Today we're going to take a look at programming additional remotes to your Marantec garage door opener. To do that, you're going to need a 3-prong programming connector and a remote that is already programmed to your operator. Let's get to it. First thing you want to do before you do anything else is to make sure that your old remote and your new remote work on the same frequency. You might even want to do this before you buy a new remote to make sure that it's going to work. So if you turn over on the back of your remote, you'll find the frequency printed there, and it should say 315 megahertz, which it also has on the newer remotes. If you can't read it because the back of the remote's all worn and you can't see the text anymore, then you'll need to get a ladder, go out in your garage, get a ladder, and climb up to your garage door operator. And on top, in a slot, you'll find the radio receiver. There'll be a long gray antenna coming out of it. And if you pull the radio receiver out of the slot and look on the receiver, you'll see the frequency printed on there. Then once you've confirmed that 315 megahertz is the frequency that your operator is using, then you're good to go. If it's not 315 megahertz, then you'll probably have to add a new radio receiver, and we're not going to cover it in this video, but if you just email us at youtube@garagedoorzone.com, we can go over that with you. To program additional remotes into your operator, you're going to need a remote that's already programmed to your operator. The Marantec remotes work on a fixed code, so they store one code in the operator. All additional remotes are transferred that code to the new remotes. If you don't have a remote that's already programmed into your operator, then look in the description below for your model of opener, and we have links to all the program instructions depending on which model you have, as they vary a little bit between models. After you do that, come back here and finish watching this video on how to program additional remotes into your operator. Okay, so you're going to have a programmed remote, one that's currently working with your operator, and you're going to have a new remote that you want to add to the operator. And you also need a 3-prong programming connector. These connect the two remotes, and that way you can transfer the code from a programmed remote to a second remote. So you take your programmed remote and insert the 3-prong connector into the side of that remote. And you push it in until you feel it stop. Take your new remote and put the other side of the connector into the side of that remote. Now they're connected together with the 3-prong connector. On your programmed remote, the one that's already working, press and hold the top button on that remote. While holding that one, you'll press and hold the button on the new remote that you're programming it to. Just a note while you're doing this, if you're doing the programming in the vicinity of your garage, your electric operator will run while you press the remote, just so you know, and it doesn't startle you. I mean, you can do it away from your garage, it doesn't matter, but that's just to let you know that your garage door is going to run as you press your remotes. So now's a good time to test the new remote and see if it worked. So take and press the button that you just transferred the code to and see if your operator goes up and down. If it doesn't, that means it most likely didn't transfer. But also test the original remote that you had and make sure it still works. Because if this one also doesn't work now, that means that you most likely did it backwards. And what I mean by that is you pressed the new remote first and then you pressed your old remote, and what that did was transfer a new code to your old remote, which pretty much just made it stop working. If that's the case, look in the description below for your model of operator and find instructions on how to program one remote back into the opener. After you do that, then you come and you'll go through those steps again for transferring the code from one remote to the other. If you could just take a second and hit the like button, we'd really appreciate it, as it helps get the video out to more people. Thank you. Okay, if you're having trouble with the transfer of the code from your old remote to the new remote, then there's a few things you might want to try that can help. One thing is, like I said earlier, there are holes on either side of the remotes that the programming connector go into. So you could try the other side and see if it has a better connection. So you can just flip the one remote around. And if you have an older remote like the M3-2312, there could be stuff, because it has probably been in your pocket or in your car for a while and could have got some dirt and stuff in these holes, and the programming connector's not making good contact inside. Easiest way to do it is to take a dime, you put it in the bottom of your remote, you kind of twist and turn, and the two halves of the remote come apart. Just make sure it's all clean in there and everything looks good. Sometimes you might not get a good connection if there's dirt in there, so you can try that. If your old M3-2312 just won't transfer the code from the old remote to the new remote, then it may just need replaced. If that's the case, and then you could get a newer 382 digital remote, and you can just program your new remote into the operator, and then additional 382 remotes can be transferred with the code. And a final tip when you're programming the two remotes is to hold them both in your hands and not lay them down on a table or hard surface, because they won't make good connections inside the remote. So holding them like this and putting a little bit of pressure between them while you press the buttons is the best way to do it. If you have any questions, you can email us at youtube@garagedoorzone.com and visit our store at garagedoorzone.com. Thanks for watching. We hope you found this helpful, and we hope you stick around to watch a few more of our videos. We'll see you on the next one.